All right, we're in the Model 3. It is almost 1 o'clock p.m. May 24th, 2025. We're headed to a little place called Scholars and Scoundrels. Maybe grab a little bite to eat, maybe? Who knows? We'll see how it goes. I don't know how long I'll stay there, but you know, it's a pretty nice day outside. Figured we'd get some driving in. Part of me wanted to activate Uber. I know I keep talking about it, ladies and gentlemen, but really, honestly, until they fix that connection, I really don't want to with it. But that's just me. Maybe I'll investigate if Lyft is better. You know, maybe Lyft has the same feature. I don't know. But I'm gonna eventually turn on Uber. I just didn't feel like doing it today. It's kind of a terrible excuse, isn't it? I need to get into a habit, a rhythm of working out, taking a shower, then go and do an Uber for a few hours. If I could, you know, get into that habit every day, that would be a very nice thing for me. But right now, we're going to enjoy this beautiful Saturday here in Southeast Texas by going to one of our favorite watering holes. Scholars and Scoundrels has 2 locations, so we're going to take advantage of the one that's closest to us. If it's empty, we might go to the other one, or we just might just drive around. I don't know. I just didn't want to be cooped up in the house any longer. Elon Musk is working enough for everybody. Don't mind me, I'm just tripping. No, but it's good to see Elon Musk spending a hell of a lot of time at Tesla, 24/7, focused on his companies. I'm with it. But yeah, it's gonna be a nice 2025 for Tesla for sure. We're gonna see how these other companies interact. We're coming up to this always stop. We're gonna take a left up here. Let's see how our AI student driver 13.2.9 does. I mean, it would be a shock to me if it did it wrong. That's how much more confidence we have in our AI student driver than we did, say, a year ago even. But very few errors, most of it I believe to be navigational by nature. I'm not sure exactly how it works. Sometimes I can hit the turn signal and my AI student driver will acknowledge and then perform what's supposed to happen. Whereas if I leave it alone, it'll, you know, it won't necessarily be wrong. It'll just be convoluted. You know, like going all the way around the community for no apparent reason, or just a roundabout way to try to get to a destination. So, you know, utilizing your turn signals in FSD is useful. I won't say it works all the time, but when it does work, you're like, okay, we're working together to achieve the goal. But, and then we're talking about the last 100 feet. When we get to Scholars and Scoundrels, we'll see how it handles the destination arrival portion, which has always been a trouble spot. We got a cyclist here on the road slowing down traffic essentially. No big deal. Our AI student driver responds in kind, slowing down accordingly. But you know, we gotta deal with this randomness of driving. The driver in front of us passes the cyclist. We are currently in a standard mode. I've never really encountered this particular situation on FSD. We're on a narrow country road and there's a cyclist here. So we come to this always stop. We're going to continue straight following our cyclist. Let's see this behavior in action. I mean, it doesn't look too complicated any longer, but everybody's safe. Nobody is hurt, despite our cyclist being on his phone. Talk about distracting operation of any vehicle, right? The phone is so pervasive that you have to, like, it's constant requirement of your attention. And I can't wait until autonomy is actualized, because it'll give you back that time. Like, I would love to just be on my phone right now, you know, looking up any number of things, or just perusing X, you know, just leisurely. But we're not there yet. We're close, and the days are getting the days are counting down to when Tesla launches their Robotaxi in June. I'm still sold that it's going to take closer toward the end of June before Tesla starts accumulating revenue per mile. So, but that's just my humble opinion. I'm glad to be proven wrong that on June 1st they launch a service, but I don't see that happen. We're already here. Little quick chat, just getting out of the house, letting our chauffeur give us our own personalized autonomy, safety. Eventually I'll be able to wet my whistle enough to allow this thing to drive me home, but as of right now I gotta be reserved to a degree. There's nothing wrong with that either. So, destination arrival, this parking lot is a little convoluted, so eventually they'll get to a point where we select the destination, but it's gonna let me out here kind of like in a ride-hail scenario. So we will see if we can park this thing. And that's that. All right, we've had lunch, a couple drinks maybe, you know, nothing crazy. Still feeling pretty lucid. This is the sister bar to where we typically go. Now we're gonna go to the other Scholars and Scoundrels. I know that sounds dangerous, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I think we're gonna be okay. Right now we're supervising. I just gave one of my cards, my referral link cards. I would recommend it. If you're trying to give people recommendations for their next vehicle purchase, having a tangible card with your QR code towards your referral link, I have a feeling that's going to do a lot better than just telling somebody, or, you know, even just sending a text or something tangible, you know, that they can carry with them. Even if they discard it, somebody else might be like, what the hell is that? Either way, we're spreading the news, right? And she's a bartender. Expenses, she's having trouble with her current vehicle, maintenance-wise, and I get to talking about my car, and I was like, you don't really need to buy a new one. You could easily get a used one and get the exact same benefits that I'm receiving in Stygian 2.0 here. I also mentioned to her that she might want to lease it, right? Leasing a Model 3 versus buying a used one, that actually could prove a little more cost effective, right? You don't have to have ownership of the Model 3 after the lease terms are up. You could give it back if you so choose. And depending on if you're using FSD or not, it could be really, really cheap. And I also mentioned, you know, how the federal tax credit might be going away. The state of Texas doesn't offer too much, unlike places like Colorado and California. But to take advantage of some of these EV, I mean, I get it. interest rates are high. I wouldn't recommend anybody buying a car that can't afford one, but leasing one is a pretty lucrative option to get you what you need without having to commit to ownership, you know, especially if you're not driving a lot of miles. So hopefully the young bartender there takes a look at the website. That's all you really want to do, is get them acclimated to the website. She says somebody tried to put her on game at the Facebook marketplace, if you will, about a cheap Tesla. And I also said I'm not buying a Tesla unless it's from Tesla. That's just me personally. I'm not going to, let's just say, a Nissan dealership or a Chevrolet and they got a Tesla on the lot and they're selling it. Your boy is not, the warranty be damned, I'm still not gonna buy it from them. I'd rather make sure Tesla's had some eyes on it before I get a used Tesla. So now, after, you know, it's a little quiet over there at that Scholars and Scoundrels. It's Saturday, probably a little busier than I expected it to be. No worries. We're gonna go to the other one just to see what it's like. Maybe grab another beer or two, but that's it. We're not gonna go too hard in the paint. We still gotta take care of Chewbacca when we get back, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So if anybody is really thinking about a brand new car, well, kudos to you and your financial situation, but you gotta make your next move your best move. And that is definitely putting yourself behind the wheel of a car that can drive itself. In June, people are going to start seeing the efficacy. I mean, it might be invite only in the beginning, but let's just say by the end of July, there will be some growth there. If my hunch is correct, we're gonna go from, say, 10 Model Ys to 100 by the end of July. That's where I think they'll be. As long as they can handle the logistics of owning and operating a Robotaxi fleet. You're talking about charging it, making sure it's clean. These things aren't terribly complicated, but you want to make sure you have the pieces in place to make sure the cars are available to each and every person that needs a ride. And then we're talking about price. I can only imagine. I can't wait to put a snapshot. Even if it costs the same as an Uber, it will decline over time. That is my absolute belief, right? So demand might have some artificial surge pricing in the initial launch. I kind of like the idea of you paying more to improve your priority, right? Say we got to the bar and we wanted to start playing music on the jukebox, but there's already like 20 different songs already in the queue. You can pay more to push your song to the front. Oh, goodness gracious. So you're waiting for, let's just say there's 20 or 30 Model Ys robotaxiing all over Austin. And, you know, there's 30 people ahead of you in the queue, and it's giving you a wait time of 22 minutes. Just to, you know, this is spitballing. None of these are real. We don't know what it's going to look like or how fast these cars are going to come. But let's just say you got a wait time of 22 minutes, and it's asking you can leapfrog if you'd like to pay extra. I don't know how that would work financially or customer satisfaction, but that is something to think about. I know it sucks. If I've got songs in the queue and I'm expecting a next song and it's somebody else's song, that's not a good feeling. It's like, man, I should have spent more money on that ride. So either way, yeah, we're definitely not going to be drinking too much when we're just going to see who's there, what's available. I don't get a lot of time at the bars, not as much as I would like to. But hey, we're going to treat ourselves today. I love the social aspect of being out. We've got a Denali to our right. Our AI student driver is moderating its speed accordingly. But yeah, the bartender, she, one of the young ladies that, you know, because I'm not a regular. I stop in. I'd like to think I make a decent impression on people to where they at least remember my features. I'm not a small guy. I'm not bald. I don't know how many people have this level of lock, if you know what I mean. I don't know how many people have this level of lock. So I kind of make an impression. You don't forget me. And then when you speak with me, you tend to, I like to lay it, I like to be, you know, I don't expect people to remember my name, but I know that guy, right? That's what I aim for. I know that guy. And I'm terrible with names myself, so right now I'm kind of locking in that bartender's name. She's only been working there for 4 months. She really didn't want to go back to bartending, which I don't blame her. That level of customer service, you're getting hit on all the time. And, you know, she's mildly attractive. I ain't afraid to admit it. But she is freshly married. I don't think she wants to be in the bar scene, especially working all hours of the day and night, you know. But there's room for advancement. Get that money while you're young, ladies and gentlemen, because when you get older, it gets a lot more sad. But, you know, she's doing what she's got to do. I am Hustletown Tesla 832. And game recognized game, granddad. When I see a hustler, I immediately acknowledge that hustle. And that bartender has it. So she deserves the nicest things in life. And if she uses my referral code, more power to her. And who knows, maybe I'll get to treat myself more to that establishment and check in and see how she's doing. Whether she buys a Tesla or not, whether she explores the website or not, it's no matter. Once, a year from now, Tesla has expanded all over the great state of Texas. That'll be one less worry that she could potentially have. You know, especially if she's still on her grind, hustling. Don't want the maintenance of a new car. Don't want the rigmarole of having to park it or whatever. You know, she'll have options a year from now. Hopefully, you know, she finds what she's looking for in employment as well. Oh, it's been so long since I've had to work, ladies and gentlemen. I ain't mad at it, right? But if you're hustling, man, I could only imagine what my life would be like if I would have found TSLA in 2016 when I was purchasing my first hybrid. Imagine if I were purchasing my first Tesla, first model. I don't know if Model 3s were on the line just yet in 2016. And your boy probably wasn't going to buy a $100,000 vehicle with the S and X available. Were there Model 3s in 2006? I don't think so. You know, but even a couple of years later, like if I would have just been actively seeking an electric vehicle, I would have stumbled across Tesla. Just actively seeking, I would have been able to have Tesla on my radar. Maybe would have been one of the first purchasers of the Model 3 in 2017 or 18, right? 19, whatever it was. I'd have took a defective Model 3 all day, every day, just to get the experience. But everything happens for a reason. I bought my first Model 3 in 2020. Yosh bought her Model Y in 2021, essentially. She got a 2021 Model Y. We handled that for a while, and then she ended up with a 2024 Model X. And then me, I am now in a 2025 Model 3. Kind of wishing I'd have waited and just got the Highland, but I'm eager. You know, I'm eager. I wanted to make sure FSD is doing what it's doing, and I don't regret it. The Highland Model 3 is amazing. Juniper Model Y probably is a little bit bigger and has some other features that are, you know, nice. And I think, honestly, if you have a Model Y Juniper, you probably are going to get the updates maybe a little bit faster. Time will tell. But I got this Model 3 thinking that it would be easily an easy adaptation to maybe the Robotaxi fleet. So 3s, Ys, I think they'll obviously go into the fleet before S's and X's and Cybertrucks, essentially. So 3s and Ys, typically similar dimensions when it comes to FSD. That's why I got the Highland. And truly, I did think about going deep into the hole, maybe selling some shares to get a Cybertruck. I'm kind of glad I didn't. I covet my shares so greatly. But back at all-time highs, the thought did cross my mind. Pay off my mortgage and buy a Cybertruck, but it would have cost me all my shares, and your boy wasn't about that life. So I'm glad, you know, the stock fell precipitously after that thought crossed my mind. Like within a couple of weeks, when I was truly contemplating selling all my shares, paying off my mortgage, and buying a Cybertruck, the stock fell to damn near 220 or so from 480. Made me feel like shit. I'm not gonna lie, ladies and gentlemen. I'm like, maybe I should have, but you know, there's no telling. Could I have turned around and used what I pay for my mortgage and say a car payment and just started buying Tesla at 220? Maybe that was an opportunity loss. I have to really look at these things and understand, but you never know what's going to happen. So, you know, you win some, you lose some, but you live to fight another day. And having damn near, we're on our way to 1,000 shares. So part of me just likes to see that number grow over time. And 5 years from now, there's no telling where the stock is going to be. You still got to pay taxes on what stock you sell and all this other thing. I mean, it wouldn't have been that big of an issue considering I wouldn't have a mortgage payment or a car note. But these are the things that you have to start thinking about. And, you know, no risk it, no biscuit. And we'll see what happens the next time that opportunity arises, because I think it's going to happen within short order. Dan Ives has just moved his price target for Tesla back to 500. The stock goes up, he raises the price target. The stock goes down, guess what? He lowers the price target. He's constantly chasing the momentum of the trade. But me personally, I'm not terribly concerned with where it's going to be in the short term. I always buy Tesla with the assumption that I'm going to hold it for at a minimum 5 years. And when I bought my first share in 2020, it's now 2025. I crossed the Rubicon with a lot of those shares that I bought in 2020, and it wasn't all sunshine and lollipops, but I still have the conviction that TSLA is considerably undervalued. But I had to assess it. I kind of changed my price target for 2025, but I still have a price target for 2035, and that remains unchanged. So while I may not expect Tesla to be at 500 by the end of the year, and hell, I could be totally wrong in that respect. As we are approaching our destination, we are going to see what it looks like, maybe have a couple drinks, but probably not too much after that. We're just gonna see what the atmosphere is like. As our vehicle pulls over, I love FSD, and just using it feels like you have an advantage, right? Like the confidence when I press the buy button, I smile every time I purchase TSLA. I smile every single time. So, more to come. 2025 is going to be a weird one, but I think we've got years of prosperity ahead of us. So.